Yes, people, welcome back to another reaction video. Our good friend Marcus Goldbridge has been chatting about Manchester City. Again, the title of this video are Manchester City or Man City are finished. We're finished, people, because Mark Goldbridge apparently says so, and I want to know why. Let's dissect this together.
Hello everybody and welcome to That's Football. Manchester City are in trouble as a date for their 115 charges trial is set. And there'll be a lot of reaction around this in relation to when it's going to actually happen. Autumn 2024 will be apparently when this trial takes place. So a year away, and it probably won't be the summer of 2025 until we get a result, and then there could still be an appeal. But in my opinion, and
I promise I won't pause too much, but I want to know, this video is 10 minutes and 14 seconds in length. How's he made a 10-minute, 14-second video out of us getting a trial date set? There's no information on the trial. No information on guilty, innocent, or... There's nothing really new other than we now know when it should come to a conclusion. How has bro got a 10-minute video out of this? I am intrigued.
Looking at what's being reported, I don't think this is good for Man City. I think if you've got a problem, you want to get on with it and face up to it, because you can kick it down the road as much as you like, and you can, put it through appeal courts as much as you want. But clearly at some point it's going to catch up with you. And when it does, all you're doing at the moment will be, the integrity will disappear. I think this is a big problem for Manchester City, and I want to talk about why, and get in the comments and give your thoughts as well. Because
I will give my thoughts
about this, saying why does it keep getting kicked down the road? But I don't think it's going to help them. I don't know. It's like ignoring a boil on your arse, isn't it? And not going to the doctor, and it keeps getting bigger. At some point, it's going to explode, and it's going to be painful. The podcast is out today as well. Outrageous.
Don't care.
Football. It's on Spotify, iTunes. Support the
Don't care.
Play along with as well. But back on track on this channel, we're talking about this Manchester City trial. And look, there's a lot of anger. There's a lot of anger. This report in the Mail is saying that these 115 charges, which aren't going away, there will be a trial, and it will be in a year's time. And I think that's the most important thing to figure out here. It ain't going away. There's no deal to be struck. Man City.
There's a lot of anger, but not from me. You know that old joke? Somebody call an ambulance, but not for me. That's me right now. You're the angry man. You're the man making 10-minute, 14-second videos about Man City's charges. If I was angry, I'd be standing up, I'd be looking at my camera, and I'd be fuming. I'm not angry. And I don't think he understands the timescale of how these cases work. Everton's one went rapid. They pleaded guilty, they bent over, they said, give us our sanction, we're sorry Premier League, hoping they'd get an easier or a lighter sanction. We are fighting the case. They're currently gathering evidence. No one's kicking shit down the road. It's standard procedure, Marcus.
Have, apparently made it very difficult for the investigators in this case. And Man City's stance appears to be, we haven't done anything and we're going to chuck a lot of money at defending that. Whereas you look at what Everton did, very different, but acknowledgement.
Why do you chuck a lot of money at it if you're guilty? If you feel you have the chance to be innocent, that's why you chuck money at it, to give yourself the best chances at a solid defence and getting off innocent. Not because we're guilty, or not because it's not an admission of guilt. Come on, Marcus.
Slap on the wrist, 10 points. It's been dealt with quite quickly. Man City's a different animal. It's 115 charges, and that is a lot of charges. And obviously, to be charged, they feel that they have done something wrong. Man City's right is to defend that, innocent until proven guilty. But I think the big problem Man City have got here is, if I was a Man City fan, I would be concerned. I've seen Man City fans saying, well, we're just enjoying it while we can. If we end up in the Conference League, we'll still be there. But what they don't realise is, and I think deep down they do realise, is they sort of feed off the frustration of fans who go, it's a disgrace. It's a disgrace how they're getting away with it. It's a disgrace how they were charged with this nearly a year ago and they're still allowed to win trophies and win trebles. It's an absolute disgrace. And some Man City fans just seem to go, we're getting away with it, we're getting away with it. But I just refer you to Juventus and other clubs who got done for corruption. It won't mean anything. Everything you've done over the last few
Juventus was match fixing. We've not been done for match fixing. Stop comparing Man City's case with previous cases. Every case is different. Chelsea's case is different. Everton's case is different. Juventus' case is different. Don't compare, because you're going to be disappointed when you see the outcome, Marcus.
Years will not mean anything. And you might think in your mind that you can go, well, it did mean anything. I remember those moments. But trust me, they won't. Nobody outside football will acknowledge it, and within your heart...
No. You know what? It actually, this does piss me off. When someone like him, Mark Goldbridge, who never, ever goes to Old Trafford, never goes to a single fucking game, has the audacity to tell someone like me, who was at I was at more games than I wasn't at during our treble season. I was there for the FA Cup final. I was there when we lifted the Premier League trophy. I was in Munich. I was in Seville. I was in Dortmund. I was home and away up and down the country. Palace, Tottenham, Arsenal, Chelsea, United, you name it. I felt the wins. I felt the losses. I saw the trophies. I don't care if you don't think it's relevant sitting in your bedroom telling me it's not relevant. I felt it. I was on the pitch in the Etihad twice. Your opinion means nothing in this situation. You cannot tell a Man City fan what they felt is irrelevant, because they felt it. You've never felt it, because you sit in your gaming chair and tell us we shouldn't feel it. Bollocks.
Heart, you can pretend that it meant something, but it won't mean anything if this comes out in a year or two that basically you cheated. It will undermine everything that you've done. And I also think from a Manchester City point of view, there can be no denying that they're the best team in the world. There'd be no denying that Erling Haaland's the best striker in the world. There can be no denying that Pep Guardiola is the best manager in the world. There is an integrity to that. And if I was Manchester City, I just wouldn't like this. If I was the owner of Man City, I just would not like this. I would be like, we need to get away with this, or we need to get on with this. And if we're not going to get a result for maybe 2 years, and then there could be another appeal, this is just going to overshadow Man City for the next 5-10 years. And then you may well get your punishment on top of that. So I'd just say patience with this. I get it. I think people are very frustrated that...
We knew as soon as these charges landed on our door that this would not be a quick process. This was never going to be a quick fix. This was never going to be 6 months, conclusion, slam the hammer down, City are relegated, or slam the hammer down, City are innocent. This was always going to be an elongated process. So stop acting like this is news. Stop acting like you're surprised that a 115 charge case is going to take a couple of years. It doesn't take a genius to understand that this is normal, this is standard procedure. And any real football fan, and someone like me who I don't really like to spend too much time thinking about charges and legalities and regulations, I'll worry about it when the time comes. But for now, I still have my season ticket, I still travel home and away, I still watch the best football team in the world, and I'm still seeing trophies left, right and centre. Whatever will be in 2025 will be. This guy thinks he has the right to tell Man City fans how they should feel. This guy thinks he has the right to tell the ownership and board of Manchester City, the current best run football club in the world, how they should feel about this situation. They're paying Lord Panic more than they're paying Kevin De Bruyne. They clearly had the thing under fucking wraps.
There is this potential that Manchester City have done something really, really wrong, and every bit of their success is built on a platform of cheating, I suppose. But allegedly, we have to be fair about that. But also, I think for whom the bell tolls is Manchester City. And I actually, the way I read this is, yeah, Everton have had a 10-point deduction very, very quickly. And people will go, it's not fair that Everton, for much lesser charges, have had a 10-point deduction. But in some ways, Everton have took their medicine. They learn from it. They'll stay in the Premier League and they move on. For Manchester City, the reason it's taking so long is because it's enormous. There's so much to it. The fact that this is going to go, a year away before it goes to trial just shows you the enormity of evidence that is going to be brought in.
He's contradicting himself now.
It just shows you the enormity of money that Man City are going to put into this to try and defend it. And really, who knows which way it's going to go, but I don't think this looks good for Man City at all. I think if the Premier League didn't have a good case, they wouldn't be doing it at all. I think that if I was Manchester City, I don't know what they know, but they're almost... look, the fact
Well, you're doing a lot of talking for someone who doesn't know what they know.
I think you've got to say there's always a chance that they'll get away with it. A lot of people think they will. But the fact that it's going to go to a trial and it's so many charges and it's taking so long to set it up means the enormity of this goes wrong is huge for Manchester City. I mean, they're not going to be in the Premier League. Let's be honest. They will not be in the Premier League if they get found guilty of some of these things. And
that's a big statement, that.
Over you, I think they're in trouble.
That's a big statement. That is a really big statement. I don't know what they know, he says. He hasn't really got a clue about the 115 charges as a whole. He just sees the number 115 and go, "Ooh, that's a big number. That's a really big number. They must be in trouble." And then proceeds to say, "We'll be relegated if we're found guilty of something he doesn't know about." So what is it? You know or you don't? So he's flip-flopping here. He's like a seesaw. Like a swing. Marcus.
They're in trouble. They might get away with it, but I don't think they're acting like a club that thinks they're going to get away with it. And I don't think they can act like a club with any certainty that they're going to get away with it. I think it's going to be fascinating. And look, I agree. I want to know what you think in the comments. But my general thought on this at the moment, and I don't know what the case is, and I don't know how long it's going to be, and I don't know what the outcome's going to be. But my general thoughts are, yes, I think everybody would like to get this done quickly. I think Man City fans would like to get it done quickly, because if you're going to get relegated down to League One, get on with it and do it now, and then come back and start doing things properly. So I'd want, nobody wants to wait for their sentence, unless you think you're going to get away with it, which is a possibility. But I think everybody just wants to get this done and dusted and move on from it. But the fact that it's not, I think they're in trouble. I really do. I really, really do. I think they're in big, big trouble, and I think it's just out of sight, out of mind. But it's not out of sight. It's not out of mind. The case is rumbling on. The trial will happen. It's not going away. I think some people think, because Everton have been dealt with, Manchester City's might get swept under the carpet. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I think they're in big, big trouble at the moment, and whether they can get out of it or not, I don't know. But the big problem that Man City have got as well is they play fantastic football, but quite rightly, a lot of people just keep saying 115 charges, and the integrity of what they do is under scrutiny. So look,
I think he's part of this. I think he's part of the larger number of football fans, rival fans, that don't seem to get it. When you shout 115, or you tell us, as he says, our integrity is under scrutiny, we don't care. We don't care. I don't care. Sorry, I don't speak on behalf of every Man City fan. I don't care what you think. Because in this case, you know no more than I do. And I know no more than you do. So just as invalid as you may think my opinion is, I think yours is equally as invalid. Because neither of us have a rasher sandwich.
They are the best team in the league at the moment, but they have got that question mark next to them, and it's an enormous amount of charges, and it's an enormous trial that's going to take place. And if they get in trouble, if they get done, then
if
the league, they've not admitted to anything. There's something called an early guilty plea, which I think is sort of what Everton have done, really, where they worked with the Premier League. Man City have not done that. Man City have not made this trial easy. Man City have not really cooperated, apparently. So if they get done, they're going to get really big sanctions put against them, because there's no admission, there's no working with the Premier League. And I think if they did that, then maybe they'd get a lesser charge. But I think in the long term, this could be really bad for Manchester City, and I think they're aware of that, and I think that's why they'll probably throw as much money as they can at this to try and find technicalities or ways out, or prove that they're not guilty. But as I said, the fact that the Premier League have charged them with 115 things, that's because they believe they've done them. That's how the judicial system works. If the Crown Prosecution Service or the police or whoever charge somebody with an offence, it's because they believe they've got the evidence to prove in a court that they are guilty of that offence. That's what Man City are facing. So I would say, look, I get the frustration of football fans and Man City fans who want to get this done. But the enormity of what it is why it's going to take so long. And ultimately, if it takes 2 more years, in 2 more years, this will come to an end. And that's 2 years is a long time. And then you get your punishment, which might be 3 or 4 years before you get back in the Premier League. So this could be massively bad for Manchester City. We'll have to just wait and see. Get your comments in below.
Enough of that, Mark. You just put a negative connotation on it. You could also argue it's just two more years of potentially winning Premier Leagues, Champions Leagues, Cups, whatever, and then the charges arrive. I don't care if the case arrives. I don't care if the case arrives tomorrow or 10 years. I don't care. I'm not arsed about the 115s. Not arsed about people making banners. Not arsed about the first man to arrive on the moon. I don't care. Interesting video from Mr. Goldbridge. Do me a favour, smash a like on this video, subscribe if you're new around here, leave all your thoughts down below in the comments on everything both Marcus and I had to say, and I'll see you in the next one. Good night and God bless.